Okay. Brilliant. Okay, so welcome everybody to the leadership training. So I've invited leaders, basically, so anyone that has builders as a leader in this business. So, you know, pass this down to those on your team as well that, you know, are training builders at the moment, please. So everyone who wants to be training should definitely watch this. For those who have just started, it might not be a good idea to send it to them yet because it might just be a bit too much. So, you know, as leaders, you choose your time when you think it's best to share this. But the purpose of this training is to show you guys a more simplified way, hopefully, of what to do when you get a new builder. So what training to go through then. And there's going to be resources and stuff that I'm going to send and post a Dropbox link on the Leadership Exchange. And for those of you that aren't on that, because that's for Silvers and above, we'll send you an email. And for those of you that are on the Silver Exchange, if you know anyone on your team that needs it, then please email them. So that's how it will work. So I'm just going to share my screen now and go through it. So here we go. So hopefully it will work well here. So I've just got my folder here of training builder. This is basically what you'll see on the Dropbox. Is you'll go into the Dropbox and you'll have training a builder. Okay. Now the thing that we're going to look at first of all is this checklist. That should not be there. Let me get rid of that. Okay, here we go. So this is what you can print out. The idea of this checklist is that you can print a copy of this out for each of your builders. So you can then file it, put it on your wall, whatever you want to do with it, but it's there for you. And I would recommend getting a ring binder perhaps with all your builders in it, so you can then just slot it in, and that's nice and organised for you. Now I've done a little key here. So this one here, you see this on the training, is what I would suggest you do personally with your new builder. Now, when you first start getting builders, this is quite easy to do because you have more time to do that. So this is a suggestion that you do these trainings live, the ones that have that symbol. But I do appreciate that if you're growing really quickly, there might be some stages when that's not possible, and then you could record trainings and perhaps send them to your builders. But I would suggest the ones that are saying live trainings are better done live, just so you can address people's questions as they come up. I think that's better. Now the symbol with this means you know it's something you can send your person. And so I have simplified some of the trainings that we used to have into documents, as you'll see in a second, that you don't have to do trainings with them. For the things that I don't think you need to do live trainings with, I've made them into documents that you can send. So there you go, you just put your builder, contact details, you have it all there for you. Now at the very beginning, I've just done a summary because sometimes, you know, we do get business people that come on board before they've even been sampled or before they've gone to a class, and you can get racing into the next part of the training and forget that actually they do need to have a sample and they do need to see that class and they do need to have their own wellness consultation. So that's why I put those things there. And usually that's just going to be very simply, it's going to be the process of you finding a builder. So you can just tick that off, can't you? Now, the first thing that you may not have is this email for Why the Business. Now I have shared this before, so it probably has filtered on down to you guys, to everyone in the team, hopefully. So this one might not be new to you, but this is what I would suggest you do first of all. So as someone has expressed an interest in building, I do sometimes have a contact with them before I send this Why the Business email. So I may sometimes send just a more casual email with just maybe 2 videos that I absolutely love about doTERRA. Just maybe a co-impact.
Becky, sorry, there's a few of us in the chat just saying we can't actually see the checklist at all. We can just see your still the computer.
Oh, really?
Right. Sorry.
No, it's brilliant. It's saying sharing. Okay. All right, I'll stop sharing and I'll share again and see. Sorry. Okay, let's have a look. We'll go straight to the builder checklist. Maybe, is that shared? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Anna. Do come off the chat, yeah, because I'm not looking at the chat, as you probably realised. So come off and just tell me if you need to tell me something again. Okay, so sorry. So there we go. So you've got your training new builder, just a little bit of blurb at the top, and then your key that I explained. So there's your key. That's the live one. That's training. Yeah, it's self-explanatory. go into that too much. And then your name at the top of the new builder. And yes, the top bit here is just stuff that I said would pretty much probably happen with most people anyway. They're going to go to a class, they're going to have had the wellness consultation. So the next step you want to do is email them this Why the Business email. And that's in the pack that I've created. So if you haven't got that, don't worry, it will be in this Dropbox pack. But it's, so after you've done your casual perhaps email to them or a casual chat about the business, and you've shared a bit of your passion obviously, and shared perhaps one of the co-impact sourcing videos that you really like, this is the point then when they've kind of decided yes, they want to, you know, they've almost decided they want to do this business at that point, is when I send them this email really. So it's not a completely cold email, this one, not the very first thing you send. Now again, you can edit this. There is 2 parts to this email. You'll see there's a job description part. So maybe you'll decide that's not actually the best thing you want to send them initially. So do with it what you want to. But I think it's a really good tool just to send somebody. It's got some videos on, so have a play around with it. And again, edit it as you want to. But that's the first thing I would do. Now, so after they've had that email about why the business, they've had a chance to kind of digest that a little bit, I would then, you have some kind of chat with them first. After that, before referring them to a 3-way upline call. And that can be just a casual chat, you know, just and you telling them a bit more about the business and going into a bit more detail in your own words about why the business. You know, I like to cover the timing, definitely in a bit of detail. I like to cover the fact that the oils sell themselves. I like to say about the company being so integral and it's got such a lovely culture about doTERRA. And of course, I like to address the earnings as well, because that's usually quite appealing to people. So you can do that in a more casual way, or you can use our intro to the business PowerPoint that you all know really well. That's the same as what it has been. But again, you can just take bits from it. I don't always go through the whole of that PowerPoint with people. So it's up to you. But what I think needs to happen after you've sent that email of why the business is some kind of follow-up chat with them. And you just adapt it to the needs of the person, really. And then at that point, you know, they've pretty much decided they want to do the business at this point. This is when you arrange a 3-way call with your upline. So, you know, if you've got usually a gold or above upline, I would say, to refer this to, but some silvers as well. We're very confident to do this if they've been in the business longer. So the leader that's closest to you, that is confident about doing a 3-way call with you and your new builder. Now, if you haven't had this experience yet, then speak to your upline about it. So your closest upline, there will be someone doing 3-way calls. I know you all have uplines that are doing 3-way calls. So some of you who haven't experienced that, just chat to them about what that 3-way call is. But basically what it is, you know, you letting your upline do most of the talking. You just introduce your builder to your upline and they kind of take over really. And it's about them listening to your new builder and finding out what your new builder's kind of desires are really, and what they want doTERRA to kind of be for them. So there's a place here then that you can then just take notes. So you can write down what their kind of initial goals were. I think it's important to see what their initial goals were. And then the point of the second 3-way call, that again you'll do with your upline, is to then really get realistic goals from this. So then you can write down their realistic goals. And in this second 3-way call is usually when your upline will kind of address the business plan with them, which basically is getting them to set a launch date. So of course, again, they'll adapt it to the builder, but we're kind of recommending now that however slowly someone wants to go, we do recommend, if possible, if someone can kind of do 4 classes in 2 weeks. And they might want to wait a while till they put those dates in, but at least 2 classes. You know, don't push people again. This business is for everyone and we don't want to put people off, but we'd suggest people do, you know, at least 2 classes in a 2-week period, and if possible 4. So that's when you'll want to be putting down those 4 dates. And they might not know that straight away on that call, but that's just the place that you would then want to work with your builder, following up from that 3-way call with your new builder. So you know exactly when their classes are going to be and you've got it all written down. So this is kind of all the initial stuff. So it's the building up to the builder, you know, wanting to do the business and then helping them create a business plan, and you can clearly see what their goals are, and you've put them in here. They're realistic goals. So at that point, they've decided, you know, they're definitely in the business now. Now, we used to do, as you probably, most of you will know, we used to do like a getting started presentation with them. Now, I don't really think that's necessary to do that as a presentation anymore. And so I've produced the Live and Learn document. So the things, key things, the Live and Learn document, you'll have a look through it when you get it, but it's just the key things people need to know to kind of sample the oils, really. So just the key things about the essential oils, just to give them the confidence they need to know about the oils. So it goes into a little bit what an essential oil is, the CPTG, how to use the oils. It's just a summary for them just to have a look at, just a learning tool for them. So have a look at it, and you can choose to use it or not use it. I quite like it. And then also I've done a getting started document, which kind of covers what I had in the PowerPoint. So again, it's just tools they might want to get started, and things like that. In fact, I'll have a quick show you in a second what they are. And then you want to send them the key Facebook pages. So just put some things here that I do then at this point, just so you don't forget. So just, you don't want to overwhelm them, sending them every single link you've ever had of doTERRA at this point. That's far too much. Just send them, you know, these things at this point. And then what I would do after that, after you've sent those documents to them, is to then book in a follow-up chat with them. And then this follow-up chat is just to kind of check their understanding of the documents. You see if they've got any questions that may have arisen from those documents. And when I show you the documents in a second, you'll see there's a few websites I've put in there. And so just make sure they're confident with those few websites, really. So just kind of guiding them through this initial process. And now in that same chat, you could go straight into sampling. You know, everyone's different again. So some builders get easily overwhelmed, as I'm sure we've all experienced. Other builders want it all right now. So then you can go into the sampling part. And this is a new PowerPoint that I did do, so some of you would have seen the presentation that we've just put together. So it's just a sampling. It's a PowerPoint about effective sampling. And so it talks about the 100 list. It talks about how to rank your list. It talks about how to do effective sampling. And it talks about how to sample. So what things to sample. So it's kind of everything they would need to know about sampling. So it's the most important. It's really the only vital presentation you would do to someone before them giving a class. So if you were not to have any time at all, this would be the presentation I would recommend addressing with them. Now I'm going to record it. I'm going to do a recording at some point of it. So you will have a recorded version. So again, if you don't have time to do that, you really can't do a personal one with them, then you can send them the recording and then just go over the questions that might arise with them. So if you are going to send recordings, which is definitely a last resort, but if you are going to send recordings, then please do make time to have a follow-up chat with them. Don't just assume they've got it all and it's all made sense to them. Okay, so after you've done that presentation about sampling, we've put together, and it's not just me actually, I've asked for a couple of other people to contribute to this as well, is some sampling resources. So again, if any of you guys have anything that you've created that can fit into any part of this training, you don't mind sharing, I'd really appreciate it, because it's nice to have a few different resources in there. But in the sampling resources, there is a sampling summary document. So it just kind of summarizes the presentation that you'd have given them, just, you know, so that they can have more time to digest it and have something to look at. There's also some sampling phrases just to help people out a bit. Sometimes it's tricky to know how to start sharing and what to say. So I've done a sampling phrases sheet. And also, some of you will remember from the RAC, Sarah Barber did a handout to give with a sample. So I've included that in there as well, and you can adapt it. But just something to get going. And then the sampling flow chart, which kind of just summarizes the whole effective sampling process. So just a few things there that you can send builders. And again, don't send them everything in one go. So when I send you this resource pack or the link for it on Dropbox, don't be tempted to just go and send your builders all this in one go. You know, it's a step-by-step thing. You don't want to overwhelm, and just send them bits as they arise is what I'm going to do. Again, it's up to you. Okay, so then that's all you really need to do. Then you could just do then check up with them, so just be there to support them through the sampling process. That's really, you know, when builders start, you take yourself back. Some of you were probably more confident at sampling than others, but I didn't have much of a clue to begin with, and I definitely would have appreciated some help in what to sample, and you know, so it is a bit daunting for people. So just be there for them. That's really when your weekly chats are going to be about sampling, about supporting them through the sampling process, and sometimes daily, you know, sometimes just text or emails. It's just whatever they need, but just be aware that they're going to need some help with the sampling to begin with. That won't be forever, but to begin with, they'll need some help. And then these other things are kind of optional to do before the class. So then this is where I say, you know, adapt it to your builder, and you could do this next one, for example, after the class. I've kind of started doing it before the class because there's also quite a lot of stuff to try and cover after a class, and people generally want to know a bit about the compensation plan anyway at this point. So I've kind of re-edited, so Nathan's compensation plan, which he did, which was brilliant. I've kind of edited it slightly and simplified it to the point of what I think people will want to know straight away, because they don't need to know everything straight away, and added a bit of placements into it. So I've kind of combined the two, just the minimal stuff people will need before class. But again, you can edit it too. So it's just a base for you guys to have. So you might want to do that before a class. And for most people, I think you probably will. And then with the class, you know, we used to have a PowerPoint, didn't we, for the class? And I don't really think that's really needed to do a presentation of how to teach a class to a new builder, because it's more about helping them prepare for the class. So we have a class outline, we have a script that you can send your new business person. Also, you know, we have a video. I just did I recorded an online class I did the other day, which I'll put there for the moment, but I'll record another one. But just so people can have a video to watch as well is quite nice for them. So they can just be preparing themselves for the class just by watching a class is the best training, really. And to look at that script and outline. And I've said here the 4-class training plan. So I think, again, most of you are aware that with a new builder, ideally, you'll want to go and help them do 4 classes. Again, if you've got lots of builders and you're training lots of people, it's hard to perhaps do 4. But in an ideal situation, you would go and teach the first class with that new builder, and they would do like an introduction, really, or just share an oil experience. The second class, you would have them do 1/3 of the class. The third class, they do 2/3. And so by the 4th class, they're doing the class, they're printing the resources at this point, so the handouts, they're making the refreshments as well. So they're doing the class, and you're there to support. And that kind of schedules in the training pack as well for you. But that's what we'd recommend. So that's what it's just literally then with the class, just helping them prepare for a class, just making sure they're sampling effectively, making sure they're going to call those people 2 days before the class and text them, and just going to teach the class, really. That's how people are going to learn about the class. You don't need to talk too much about the class before the class, if that makes sense. Now, the class preparation pack also, of course, has all the handouts for them. And also we've done a post-class email as well that you can use if you want to edit it again to send after a class. And there's 2 types of emails we've got in there. There's one for those that have bought, and there's ones for those that haven't bought. So you can send them an email. So that's for something to give to your new builder as well, as and when it's appropriate, relevant. Okay, so I've just put there a chat to help with class preparations, whatever you think they need. Okay, and then of course, the next real thing you need to train them on is the wellness consultation. And again, this is really up to you when you're going to do this with them. I have done it both ways. I've left it till after they've done their first class, and I've done it before their first class. And it works differently for every person. I think sometimes if you wait till after the class, it can sometimes be a bit busy trying to just fit it in, and suddenly they have to do these wellness consultations. So it can be perhaps a bit more rushed training. So if there is time before the class, I think it's worth doing it before the class. But again, it's up to you. So you can, I am going to include the wellness consultation PowerPoint that we used to do for the training, but I don't necessarily think that's going good for everybody again, you could just, you know, chat them through it. Just kind of, I've prepared a summary of the wellness consultation. So there's a document again that you can send somebody that has a detailed summary of what a wellness consultation should include, and also an outline. And Emily also did a wellness consultation video for me, which is great, so which we can share. So you can send that to your builders to watch that, to see one in action a little bit as well. They get an idea of what a wellness consultation is. I don't know where to put a question mark. Yes, we do have a post wellness consultation email as well. So that's something that you can give your builder to give to people after wellness consultation. But really, again, ideally, the way they'll learn, the best way they'll learn is if you can possibly do that first wellness consultation with them, if you can. Again, that one's slightly trickier because often they don't live locally to you, do they? And you go to help them teach a class, and going back just for a wellness consultation isn't really practical, and I get that. If you can do them online with them, with their first wellness consultation, that can work. So if not, that's when you might want to go in a bit more detail about how to do a wellness consultation, and perhaps use the PowerPoint, or just use the document and just go through it with them, you know. So that's the wellness consultation, but it's definitely worth making sure they're confident with the wellness consultation, because that's what will help their business become residual, obviously. Okay, so after all that, so you've helped them sample, be confident with sampling, you've helped them do their classes, they'll be confident with that. They're now confident to how to do a wellness consultation. So you've ticked the key things there. They will want to understand some basic back office as well, and placements. So that's something as well that we haven't created that one yet, so we need to create that PowerPoint. I just wanted to get this out there. But that's the one thing we haven't done yet. So it's kind of, it's basically Nathan's one before, but we're just going to edit it slightly. So we'll have those PowerPoints for you. And then after that point, when they've done those things, your support then as a trainer is then to be with them to emotionally support, I think is actually the key part in this, is to be there for emotional support. But certainly for those first few months, they're going to have lots of questions arising. So it's just there to help answer their questions, and helping them with these other things I put on here as well. And just making sure they're getting it so that they can then duplicate the system. That's what's vital. So to make sure they're then, you know, doing the things you've taught them, so then they can teach their people to do it too. Anything else in there that you should say? Yeah, just helping them, yeah, with all those things, which is quite self-explanatory. And then these other trainings here, which we used to do, didn't we, in a 10-week thing, we used to do one bang, bang, bang. We just thought, you know, that's not the way to do it. They don't need to know all this information. So literally just helping them do their class, wellness consultation, and then when they're ready, when they really need it, and again, it's going to be individual to that builder's needs, you can do the advanced compensation plan, which is that's the same one that Nathan's had, so we'll include that in there as well, just so it's there for you. And the advanced placements and the advanced back office. So they can come, you know, much further down the line. Don't just do them straight away, but they're there so you know that there's something you need to cover at some point. So you don't lose it, you know, you don't forget that you haven't done that. And then just some suggested topics you might want to cover in your weekly chats with them as and when ready. But like I said, mainly, you know, after that point, once you've helped get them trained and ready, you'll be helping them train their first builder. To be honest, is probably the next step in one of these. As soon as they get their first builder, again, if possible, I suggest you pretty much help train their first builder up to the point of the class. You know, so those first kind of steps, you help a lot with the training, and to make sure they're, you know, confident to do it themselves. In an ideal world, I know some of us are starting at a point where we've got 10 builders. I know Alice has got quite a few builders to train. So yeah, you adapt to Alice, but that's the ideal situation. So okay, so that is the summary of how to train a builder, how I would train a builder. So it's not, like I said, it's not how you have to do it, but this is what I think is important. Just flick you through again, and you can adapt it, you can change the order, but I think if they have all those things on there covered at some point, they'll have all the information they need to make this business successful. And that's the point. And that's the point, to help them be confident. So I'm going to stop sharing with that one. I'm going to show you a few little snapshots. I'm going to give you little sneak previews of some of the things that I discussed. And then you can look at it on the Dropbox yourself. I can't minimize it. Oh, you're recording this meeting. Okay, excellent. Get around it that way. Okay, so we've done that. Little PowerPoint there, how to get a new builder started, just kind of summarizes kind of what I've said, really. So just if that's for you. And then you go into the resource pack then. So the resource pack is all the things you'll need to train a builder, will be in here. So you've got the PowerPoints there. Hello?
You need to share screen again.
Share screen again. Thanks. Thanks, Hannah. Where would I be without you? Brilliant. Okay, here we go. Is that working? Yeah, cool. Yeah, I saw a yes. Yeah, so here we go. So where was I before? So when you first go into this, here we go, training a builder, just help you navigate. So you'll have this, there's your checklist that I just showed you. Here's a PowerPoint that you can just look at it. That's for you. It's not to share with your builder, it's just for you. Just a summary of how to train a builder. And then this is the resources that you'll need to train your builder. So we'll put a couple more things that we haven't quite finished it into there. But all the PowerPoints that you'll need if you want to. The three-way call. So you've got the second and first three-way call there. You've got the basic comp plan, the why the business email. So that email I said, if you haven't ever seen that before, then please go into that and have a good look at that one, because that's one of the first things you'll send your builder. So that's there for you. And then the sampling PowerPoint there.
Just before you move on to that one, is it possible, because you'll have these as Word documents as well, don't you? Because
Yes,
I just noticed that they're PDFs. Is it possible to put them as Word documents as well, so that we can edit them more easily?
Yeah, the three-way call I don't have a Word document of, because that was something I got practice.
Yeah, the wider business.
The wider business I can include as a document, yeah. Yeah,
okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, good point. I think that's the only one. I'll look through and make sure.
Okay.
Thanks, Linz. Yeah, I will. And you might want to make them prettier, Lynn. That's what Lindsay's thinking here. She's thinking, I need to make them prettier because they're going to be really plain.
I never dreamed of doing that. I can't say that much.
Well, once you've made them prettier, can you send them back to me and then I can send them out to everyone? I think everyone would appreciate that. More my skeleton style. Cool. And then these are resources then that send to a builder, but not all in one go. So you have in the sampling, memory jogger. You might or might not use that. I don't always use that. And this is Sarah Barber's one that she did to give to a new, give as you sample. Again, you might want to edit that. And then sampling phrases, as I said, it's a little sneak preview. Some sampling phrases, just things, again, you might want to edit that. They're just, that's a very personal thing, isn't it? But just some idea. And then the sampling document, this is what I'm quite proud of. So I'm going to show you this one. So this is just basically, this summarizes the sampling PowerPoint that you'll go through with them. Then they can look at it themselves and tips, because some, people forget what to sample. And I'm going to add some more things here, but again, you can add some more things that you found have been particularly handy.
I think we still can't see it.
Oh, mate. So every time I go on to a different one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have to do it again. Okay.
I know this might be a stupid question, but is there actually a list? This is Sue speaking. Sue.
Yes, Sue.
Hi. Hi, good. Yeah. Is there actually a list of what order you do all these things in, if you know what I mean?
Yeah. So did you see, were you on at the beginning, Sue?
No.
Okay.
No.
There is.
Oh, cool.
I've just gone through the checklist just now. So there's a whole checklist.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Which you can go through it with. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay.
You're very welcome. So here's the sampling document. Can you see it now? Sorry, I need to remember that. So it just kind of goes through just a summary of basically what you're going to teach them on the PowerPoint. You can just send it to them. Some people like to read, some people don't. So it just addresses every need, is what I'm thinking. And here, the sampling things, you might want to add to these as well. It's just giving people some ideas of where to get started and add some more detail in. I'm going to when I have time, but you might get there before me. Yeah, so that's a sampling document for you to use as and when. Okay, thank you. Do you know? And then the sampling flow chart, I won't bother sending you that, showing you that. You can see that. Okay, this is what I will share with you. I'm going to get it up and then I can share it. So I'm just going to show you so what I said to you before about the living document that I think is good to send people near the beginning when they've committed they want to do the business, just to give you a little preview. So this is now instead of the PowerPoint. You can just send them this stuff and it has some resources for them to go to, some useful resources, where to get the books from, and just a summary. You know, obviously they can get this from the book, they can get it from doTERRA University, but some people just like it in a document. So what is CPTG? Just some basic stuff that will give them confidence to kind of start. So that's the Live Guide, and I'll just show you the getting started and then pretty much done, I think. Let's get that one up. Okay, so here's the getting started one. So just the things they need to get started. So just really quite straightforward stuff that you know, gives them a summary of the business and stuff. Okay, I'll just talk through the last tiny bit of what's in there. You can look at it. The getting started, there we go. So then we have the class. So that will be the handouts you have. You have the emails that you can send to someone after a class, whether they've bought or not bought. Then in the wellness consultation one, like I said, you would have the summary of the wellness consultation, which has a detailed description, but then also a summary at the bottom that they could perhaps even take with them to their first wellness consultation if they wanted. And also a post-wellness consultation email as well. So the class, we're still just working on the final script and outline for a class, and the video, like I said, but that will be coming. So hopefully that makes it simple, and I know that's a lot of information. Stop share. Stop share. But yeah, so that builder's checklist. So see, when you see the builder's checklist, it's got a list of what to do. Let me just quickly share that to you, otherwise it might seem a bit overwhelming for you. We'll just end with that again. Where am I? Can you see that? Is the checklist up? No. Should we share again? So I'll just end with the summary with the checklist. So for those of you that did join a little bit later, at the beginning of this, if you watch the recording, you'll see me go through this in detail. But this is your kind of new, when you get a new business person who wants to do the business, they've committed to the business, this is your things you want to go through with them. And this is the key to say, to do it live. This is the key to say, you can send it. And it's in an ideal situation. So obviously you have to adapt. But this takes you through what to do with your new builder, business person. So, yeah. So that's it. So hopefully, and when you look through the documents yourself and kind of digest it more slowly, you'll have a good idea of what to do with the new business person and, yeah, how to train them. And it won't feel overwhelming and you'll feel confident to train them. Because literally that was definitely with me. As soon as I felt like I was confident to train builders, you know, I found more builders basically because I wasn't repelling them, because I was not panicking about what the heck I would do with them when I found them. So, you know, it's a big part of growing the business. So any questions? I've probably got lots of chat but Anna's been keeping me informed. So thanks, Anna, when you can't see stuff. Can't see anything. There we go. We will get all these documents in a doc. Yes. So no, we're not going to send them to an email, Alice. I'm going to put the Dropbox link on the Leaders Exchange, and I'm going to have the leaders share that with their leaders. But I'll send them to the people. So I've got Alice's email, I've got Robin's, I've got Elizabeth. So yes, we'll send some. But then if the rest of you can just, so for Vanessa and You can just make sure the people on your team get them that need, you can pass it on. So I'm going to kind of get my front line to pass it on to make it more manageable. Oh, I've gone back, went out of the chat. Let's get input and they should be. Okay, there we go. Anna's answered it. Thanks, Anna, again. Anna already answered it for me. You're welcome. Good. Learn oils. Okay, I did toy with that one. I did toy with it. I just sometimes think it's too much information. I don't know if they need to know all that stuff. I did start giving that to builders for a while, and then I stopped giving it to builders, to be honest. But feel free to add that to your own. And so yeah, there is a website called Learn Oils, and that is good. It's good. It's very American. I don't think you need to know all that stuff. That's just why. I just think sometimes that's the whole point of this, is to kind of almost channel people at the beginning. I think after those first 3 months, people can start exploring other things, you know, when they're going to do more creative classes, more advanced classes, then there's loads of things on there for that. But that's just my opinion, and gosh, there's many other opinions. So, yeah. Cool, yes, go. That's it. That's the end of the training, but if you have any questions, then feel free to ask them, and I'll stop the recording.